Okay, before we roll in this next video, I need to warn you. This is not my finest cinematography. The lighting's rough, the camera angles are worse. At one point, well, you'll see. But what is solid is the behind the scenes look we got at Call Family Distillers. These folks are the real deal. They're a huge part of Spirit of Wilkes and super supportive of the community. So hang in there. I promise the content is worth the chaos. Hope you enjoy. So we are here at the Call Family Distillers, and I've got a very special guest here. This is Austin Call.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Austin, thanks for having me.
Of course.
We just wanted to stop by and talk about the big news about Friday nights. We got Spirit of Wilkes right down the road, 24th, 25th. So Friday night, we got something special going on here. Why don't you tell us about it?
So after the show on Friday at Spirit of Wilkes and North Wilkesboro Speedway, we're going to have a cruise in down here. You guys can come after the show and bring your rides, and we're going to have a full band. We'll have Zeb Spencer. He's going to be performing that night. We're going to have some cocktails ready for y'all with some of our signature drinks. We're also going to have some food if y'all are still hungry after the event. So, you know, it's going to be a good time all around. It's going to be real fun.
I'm always hungry.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Man, that's so cool. So exciting. Well, while we're here, if you don't mind, you give us a little behind the scenes tour of what goes on here?
Absolutely. Yeah, come on.
All right, let's check it out.
All right, so tell me about this room. This is pretty fancy.
This is where all the magic happens. This is where we make all of our liquor. It's called the still room. It's got our still, our thumper, and our condenser. This is where we make all of our liquor and stuff. If you turn right over here to your right or your left, I guess, this is the mash. This is actually just got set back today. And it takes probably about, I'd say, close to a week to work off. You can see how it's kind of fizzing right here.
Yeah.
So that it'll get a little bit more fizzy as time goes on. But I'd say probably by the end of the day, you won't see all this grain, and you'll just see kind of just like a flat top of fizzing water. Almost looks like soda being poured out, or like a fresh beer. You know, if you come and go over there, there's actually one that's working, that's been about 2 days working, and it actually looks a whole lot better. But this one just got set back today. And it takes about, like I said, about a week for it to all work off. It just varies. There's, you know, temperature, how clean your vats are and stuff to make sure, because there's sometimes you can get bacteria in there that'll eat away at your alcohol. So you got to make sure that your stuff's clean, and that's a main thing too. But once this gets done, it'll be like still. There won't be no fizzing or anything going on. It'll just be kind of still looking. And that's when you know all the alcohol's done working off in it.
Gotcha.
Once that's done, we'll pump it straight into our 2,100 gallon still. Now this is a custom still that was made, designed by my dad. And it's a one of one. You won't find any other still like this in the entire world.
Wow.
And we use a method called direct steam injection. So most stills, when you go to like different distilleries, they'll have pot and column stills. Most of those are heated from the bottom. When they're heating them from the bottom, you have to have a constant stir in there. If you don't, it will scorch the grains underneath or burn them, and then it scorches the liquor, and it tastes really, really bad. So with our process, that eliminates all that because it's just direct steam. Steam has a boiling point of 212 degrees, so it never exceeds that temperature. And once it hits 212, it starts evaporating all the alcohol out of the mash, and it'll run through that top hat right there, come back over, go down into our thumper where it's redistilled, and it comes back up through that top pipe right there into our condenser where it's cooled back down into a liquid. So basically all it is just heating the mash up, evaporating that alcohol out of the mash, and then carrying it over into a cooling process and then cooling it back down into a liquid.
Wow.
And when it comes out, we yield probably about 200 to 300 gallons of 130 proof liquor every time we do a run. And the run time is probably about 4 to 6 hours.
Really? That's all?
Mm-hmm. But if you're doing 2 runs a day, that's a 12-hour, close, sometimes 12 to 10-hour shift.
Sure.
So whenever we start, we got to be up here real early. That way we're not here till about 9 or 10. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. So this is just a giant version of what you think of when you think of a old time moonshine still.
Yeah.
Copper tubing and piping and all that. Yeah.
Well, he designed this still kind of off the specs that my grandpa used to do whenever he was doing it, you know, back in the day. It's the same process, just on a grander scale, pretty much.
Gotcha.
So more commercialized now.
I like the customizations on that.
Oh yeah, the bull. It's actually, the still's called the bull. It was named after my grandpa because they gave him the nickname the Bull of the Woods because he was so big, and he was like 6'3", probably about 250. So he was walking around through there, and they just called him the Bull of the Woods because he was always in the woods, you know, making liquor. So
that's cool.
And
plaque over here says "Born to Shine."
Yep. I was gonna say, all this was done by Venom Copper Brass Works out of Kentucky. They do a lot of stills for most of the major corporations around the country.
Yeah.
They're really good at what they do. So if there's anyone that's thinking about starting a distillery, I highly recommend going to them to get your stills and stuff.
They're the people, huh?
Yeah, they're the top of the top, in my opinion. But another thing about the still too, this, like it's a one-of-one, like I said, it was a 2,100 gallon still. It was actually, I don't know if this is still true or not, but it's actually the largest privately owned still in North Carolina.
Really?
Yeah. Now, I don't know if that's still the case, but back in probably about 2 or 3 years ago, that was the case. It was the largest privately owned still in North Carolina.
We'll just claim it until somebody says.
Exactly. That's what I'm going to do.
That is awesome.
But I basically live back here. It's a fun time. We have a good time back here. It's something that, you know, a lot of people don't get to do. And I like to say, like, this isn't a job, it's my family's history. It's a legacy thing, and it's art in itself too. Because a lot of people say it is science, it is just fermentation, but at the same time, you can't, you know, bring someone off the street and do it, you know. So it takes time to learn the process and learn the craft, and it is an art form.
Sure.
And I'm just proud to be, you know, able to do something like this, because, like I said, not many people get to do this.
Yeah.
So
that was really, really neat. Well, I also saw some cars were walking back here. I'd love to hear what those are. So tell us about this beauty.
Well, this is a 1944 Coupe Deluxe. It's an actual moonshine hauler. My grandpa used to use it back in the day. Among many other cars that used to haul liquor in. This is more of your generic, I would say, moonshine hauling vehicle. You know, in movies and stuff, you see a lot of these older cars being used to haul liquor, especially like in the movie Lawless. They use a lot of these older cars. So it's more of a staple when it comes to the moonshine community. This is one of the more generic ones you would use.
Right. Well, this is what everybody kind of thinks of, I think.
Yeah, and it's a classic, honestly. Not many of these around anymore. I was just lucky to be able to look at it every day, honestly, coming in and going from work.
Yeah.
Like I said, my grandpa used to have like 10 of these things, trucks and all kinds of stuff. So it was always been real close to me to keep at least one of these cars near me at all times. So
no, that's cool. And it definitely speaks to the business.
It does. It does.
And the history.
Oh yeah.
The Speedway being right around the corner. I mean, it's, you know, it all ties back together.
Yeah, and we actually got to take the Cornet, the other car that he owned, down the Speedway and take it around the track during the All-Star race, which was really cool moment. Yeah. It was a cool, heartfelt moment because, you know, Pawpaw, you know, he had something to do with the track because he was good friends with Junior Johnson. And so it was kind of like a full circle moment for us being back on the track with that car. So
yeah. It's cool. Well, let's take a look at that car.
Oh, yeah.
It's up here, right?
Yep, it's right here.
What's this beauty?
This is the 1966 Dodge Coronet 440 with a 426 Hemi in it. It's the fastest car that my grandpa owned. It's a moonshine hauler as well. It's probably my favorite car just because it's got a cool look to it and it's, you know, fast. It'll do 120 miles per hour in second gear. It's a 4-speed.
Oh my gosh.
So this thing is a monster. My grandpa used to take me rides in it back in the day whenever he was still here. And let's just say when he got on the highway, it'll throw you back in your seat. It still does to this day.
Wow.
We actually had the opportunity of taking this beauty around the North Wilkesboro Speedway during the All-Star race. And that was a really fun moment, especially Dad going down the straightaway. He would punch it and it'd throw me back a little bit. So it was nice, you know, taking it around and getting to do that again. So it's kind of a full circle moment. Like I said, my grandpa was good friends with Junior Johnson. So the track's always been, you know, a big part of our our family's thing. And you're driving by, every day. I live down Speedway Road, so whenever it's been closed all these years, so I always think, like, what if, and they finally brought it back and getting to drive it, around the track. It was a real special moment for me and my family.
Sure. Well, I can tell you, sitting here looking at that single pot master cylinder.
Oh yeah.
I would not want to get myself in any place I didn't know what was around the bend.
No, that's one thing we learned taking turns 1 and 2. Dad, like I said, he was going fast down the straightaway, and when he hit that turn, I saw him grip it with 2 hands. I said, "Yeah, don't do that again." So we can't find replacement parts for this, I don't think, anymore.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Well, gosh, it is absolutely beautiful.
It is. It is. This is, like I said, it's my favorite car, but I'd say all the cars got a special place in my heart, but this one right here is just, this is what I'd want to be driving.
Right.
That's for sure.
Man, it's awesome. So tell us about these pictures.
All right. Well, I guess I can start at the top here. So this is the Reverend Daniel Call. He was a Lutheran minister back in Lynchburg, Tennessee, back in the late 1800s. He's I think he's my great-great-great-grandfather, maybe another great in there, I don't know.
Wow.
But he had a farm. He had a grocery store where people would come buy stuff. And like I said, he was a Lutheran minister, so he preached on Sunday. Well, one day on the farm, a kid came around. His name was Jasper. He was probably about 7 at the time, and he ran away from home, had a bad home life, and so he wanted to live on the farm and work. So he started helping his wife in the house, and then helped on the farm and stuff at the house. And one day he found a still in the back of the barn, which is where the Reverend made his whiskey and stuff that he sold at the store. And Jasper took a liking to it and wanted him to teach him, how to, use it and stuff. So Dan ended up teaching Jasper how to run the still and make the liquor. Well, then, he ended up helping him start selling it at the store. Well, then one day, Dan's congregation told him, like, look, you can't sell and make liquor and then come in here on Sundays and preach the word of God. So you're gonna have to choose. And he ended up staying the preacher and sold his still and part off of the distillery off to the kid Jasper. And his full name was Jasper Newton Daniels, which is Jack Daniels.
Jack Daniels.
So my grandfather or great-great-grandfather taught Jack Daniels how to distill. And if you go on the Jack Daniels website, they do mention Dan Call. So
really?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. But that's one thing I like to point out. Everyone points out this little neck beard he's got going on. I guess that's what was in at the time. I don't see how it was at all, but it is what it is.
Right.
But yeah, that's Dan Call, one of my ancestors. Right here, these 2 bottom picks. This one right here is a steel side operation that my great grandfather used to make his liquor out of. And if you can see, they got all the wood and stuff up top, and these logs laid across it. What they do is they lay all that wood over it, and they pretty much just cover it up with dirt and leaves or whatever whenever they were done. And then so that way the revenuers couldn't find it. So I thought that was pretty cool. And that's actually not too far up the road from my house where that was actually at. So that's another cool little thing too. Same thing with this pick is these are revenuers that have found the steel sites and stuff. So they were just taking pictures of a lot of stuff going on here. These are mash barrels right there, and then you got your steel and stuff right here. This bottom one right here, these 2 are my grandpa, Willie Clay, and I think this one was done for a book. So this is something they set up out in the woods, kind of like it was a mock steel, I think, that they done for a photo shoot for Return to Thunder Road, a book they wrote back in the day.
Right.
Same thing here. This is a late winter thing going on. He's out in the woods with all the steels and stuff set up. I know it was cold. I can tell by the way he's shrugging his shoulders. Especially that early in the morning, I can tell it's pretty early. But that's my grandpa there too, Willie Clay. And right here is my great-grandfather. His name's Willie Simon Call. And that's him next to a bobcat he killed.
Wow.
But he made liquor as well, and he also made brandy. So we ended up making a brandy. We're not making it right now, but just because some of the stuff we've been getting here recently hasn't been what we wanted. But we actually made a brandy after him. And a fun story about him is that he made liquor for a long time. Well, then he was about to go to jail for making it, and he ran off to Oregon for 5 years. So he stayed away from the family and everything for 5 years and lived out there. Well, then he came back after 5 years and they caught him. And so they gave him a day for each day he was gone, and they gave him another 5 years in prison. So he was out of my grandpa's life for about 10 years.
Wow.
And so that, got my grandpa. My grandpa dropped out of school, I think, in 8th grade, and he started helping his uncle run and, make liquor. And that's how he kind of got into it. Mm-hmm. But it's always been in our family. It's something that we've always passed down. So, but yeah, that's my family members right there, the main 3 ones that we talk about. So
that's crazy. Pretty awesome. Well, Austin, I sure do appreciate it.
Of course.
Y'all got a really cool facility here.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And we are so excited about Friday night. So Spirit of Wilkes, October 24th and 25th, Friday night after the show. Everybody come on over here for some awesome music, great food, and good drinks.
That's right.
All right, brother.
See you guys then.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.